Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning, 67 years old, no job to rush to, and the only money landing in your bank account is a single payment from the government. No super left, no investment property, no side income, just the age pension. That's the reality for hundreds of thousands of Australians right now. And if you're being honest with yourself, it might be the path you're drifting toward too. So let's actually look at it. What does life genuinely look like in 2026 if the age pension is the only thing keeping you afloat? Let's start with the hard numbers. As of the 20th of March 2026, a single person on the full age pension receives $1,200.90 every fortnight. That works out to roughly $31,223 a year. For a couple, the combined payment is $1,810.40 a fortnight, or about $47,070 a year. And yes, those figures already include the pension supplement and the energy supplement, so that's the full amount. Now, on paper, $31,000 a year for one person doesn't sound like a disaster. But here's where it gets real. That money has to cover everything: rent or rates, electricity, gas, groceries, insurance, the car, the phone, the chemist, and whatever life throws at you. And life always throws something. Here's the comparison that should make you sit up. The Association of Superannuation Funds of Australia publishes what they call the Retirement Standard. It tells us what retirees actually need. For a single person to live what they call a comfortable lifestyle, you need about $54,840 a year. The full age pension gives you $31,223. That's a gap of over $23,000 a year. Even a modest lifestyle, which means a basic car, limited meals out, and watching every utility bill, costs around $35,503 a year for a single person. The pension still falls short. Now picture what that actually means day to day. If you own your home outright, you're in the strongest position the pension can offer. Your biggest cost, housing, is handled. You can cover the groceries, keep the lights on, run an older car, and still have a little breathing room for a coffee out or a small treat now and then. It's not luxury, but it's stable. You can make it work. The trouble is, more and more Australians are arriving at retirement still carrying a mortgage, or worse, renting. And renting on the age pension is where the picture turns genuinely frightening. Think about it. If you're a single renter paying $450 a week, that's around $11,700 a year just for a roof. And that's a cheap rent in 2026. Yes, there's Commonwealth rent assistance, which adds up to about $215 a fortnight for a single person. It helps, but it doesn't close the gap. After rent, you're trying to feed yourself, heat your home, and pay for medicine on what's left, and what's left is frighteningly thin. This is why you'll hear stories of pensioners skipping meals, turning off the heater in winter, and choosing between a prescription and a proper dinner. There's another layer most people never see coming, and it's worth understanding now rather than later. The amount of pension you actually get depends on two tests: the income test and the assets test. Whichever one produces the lower payment is the one that applies. As a single homeowner in 2026, you can hold up to $321,500 in assets on top of your home and still get the full pension. Go past that, and your payment starts shrinking. There's also something called deeming, where the government assumes your savings and investments earn a set rate of return, whether they actually do or not, and counts that as income. The point is simple. The pension isn't a flat, guaranteed number for everyone. It bends around your situation, and small financial decisions in the years before retirement can change how much you receive. Here's a brighter piece of the picture though. If you reach pension age and still want to work a little, the system actually rewards you for it. Through the work bonus, you can earn up to $300 a fortnight from working without it reducing your pension at all, and any unused amount builds up in a work bank you can draw on later, up to $11,800. New pensioners even start with a $4,000 balance already in that bank. So a couple of casual shifts, a bit of consulting, or some part-time work in something you enjoy can top up your income without punishing you. So why does this matter to you even if retirement feels like a distant problem? Because the age pension was never designed to be your retirement plan. It was designed to be a safety net, a floor, something to stop you falling all the way to the ground. And somewhere along the way, a lot of Australians started treating the floor like it was the destination. They assumed it would all work out. They assumed the government would carry them. And now they're learning far too late that the floor is a hard place to live. But here's the thing, the difference between a retirement that just survives and one that actually breathes is often smaller than you think. It's not about becoming a millionaire. It's about building even a modest gap filler on top of the pension. Picture this. If you could generate just an extra $15,000 a year from your own savings or investments, you'd lift yourself from below the modest line all the way up toward comfortable. That's the power of the pension as a base instead of the whole story. It does the heavy lifting. You just have to add the difference, and that difference is buildable, even if you're starting later than you'd like. A modest superannuation balance changes everything. According to the AS for figures, a single person needs around $630,000 in super for a comfortable retirement, and that already assumes you'll receive a part pension alongside it. That number scares people, but you don't need the full amount to feel the impact. Every $100,000 you build can throw off a few $1,000s a year, and on top of the pension, those few $1,000s are the difference between heating your home without flinching and sitting in the cold doing the maths. This is the mindset shift that separates the Australians who retire with dignity from the ones who retire with dread. The first group treats the age pension as a foundation and spends their working years stacking something on top of it. The second group treats it as a plan and hopes for the best. One group sleeps at night, the other lies awake. And the only thing standing between those two futures is the decision you make about your money starting now. So what do you actually do with this? Start by knowing your number. Look at the $31,223 a year the single pension provides, or the $47,070 for a couple, and ask yourself honestly whether you could live the life you want on that. If the answer is no, and for most people it is, then your job is simply to build the gap. Check your super balance. Find out if you're on track. Consider small, consistent extra contributions because money added in your 40s and 50s still has years to grow. And if retirement is close, get advice on how your assets interact with the pension because the rules around the income and assets test can dramatically change how much pension you actually receive. The age pension in 2026 is a genuine lifeline, and we are fortunate to have it. For someone who owns their home and lives simply, it can provide a stable, dignified retirement. But standing alone with no buffer behind it, it is a tight, anxious, hand-to-mouth existence that no one would choose if they truly understood it in advance. The good news is that you do understand it now. You've seen the numbers, you know the gap, and knowing is the thing that gives you power, because a future you can see coming is a future you can change. If this opened your eyes even a little, do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there.